Hello and welcome to Amy Hart's Mums Club, the podcast where I journey through the highs and lows of parenting alongside a gaggle of fabulous guests. And that's not all, this podcast is for you. Along the way, me and my guests will be giving you tips, tricks and hints about our parenting journeys. Don't forget to check out our social medias at Amy Hart's Mums Club on Instagram and TikTok. Don't forget you can find me on social media at Amy Hart's Mums Club on Instagram and TikTok. Now, my guest today has got 9 children. This is a new record for Amy Hart's Mums Club, the most children we've ever had. She is a shepherdess. She's got books. She's got TV shows. She's going out on tour. So we've got Mum too. I need to read this off my paper because I can't remember it all. Raven, Ruben, Miles, Edith, Violet, Sydney, Anna, Clemmy and Nancy. It's Amanda Owen.
Hello, Amy.
Hello.
You're stressing me out actually even saying this because it makes me feel embarrassed. I'm like, I'm really not all that. I mean, yes, that is kind of like the vital statistics, but come on. It's parenting.
I find that sometimes when like you go to events and stuff and they introduce you and you sort of think like, oh, like what do I even do? And they list it all and you're like, oh, okay, no, I do quite a lot.
Yeah, there is that, but then you start also, it tips the other way, don't you? And you feel slightly embarrassed as you think to yourself, and you know, parent of 9, and then it's like, well, yes, I am. But as Raven, my oldest, said the other day, she said, look at what I've achieved after being dragged up. I was like, no. So you do keep it real. It's like those are your achievements, and if your achievements have been about my rather lapse achievements, then take it.
It's
all good, isn't it? It's all good. It's character building, isn't it? So yes.
So 9 kids, talk to me. What is your house like on a day-to-day basis?
As I look, there's a pair of abandoned flip-flops, some things that come off Crocs, 3 saddles, a half-made rag rug, pants, you name it. It's not a perfect house. I mean, I think it's perfect in that it's homely, it's welcoming, but yeah, you don't want to scratch the surface too much because it's never going to look like one of those houses out of a glossy magazine. But I feel like it's got a nice vibe to it, and the children love it, and the people that come here that love it, and the people that come here once and don't come back, I'm assuming that they didn't love it.
It's too busy for them. I love it. I've always wanted a busy house. I'm not sure I've got time for 9 because I'm like 33 already, but I mean, amazing. So is your house like a tight ship? Is everything very organised and scheduled, or do you sort of go, do you know what, as long as we all make it out of the house, great news?
Definitely not a tight ship. I have like a list of priorities and things that have to happen. So it's Wednesday today, so it's bin day, and it's also the unglamorous bin day. It's bin day, but it's also a ballet. So I've managed to. So it's a bit like planes, trains, and automobiles around here. So it's trying to work out where I actually have everybody as to who can do what. And if you add that in with all the pressures of everything else, things have to chop and change. So you basically can't have too much of a plan, or at least be loose with the plan as to how you're going to make it work. And you know, yes, certainly the children have headed off to school with a decent sandwich box rather than anything stale, and I haven't had to scratch off any best before dates off the top of yogurt, so things are looking pretty good. I've got school to the stage where they will accept a sort of joint permission to do everything letter, you know.
just take them.
Just take them. It's absolutely fine. And you know, and please also, can you actually believe the children when they pass on a message from home? You don't have to ring home to actually find out whether it's true. Just accept that it is. Okay, thank you. You know, I've got the children to the point where if they answer my phone, because it only works in the house, they will say things like, Mum's not here, but she actually is here. It's just she's out in the fields and the phone doesn't work, rather than my parents aren't here.
You're a farmer as well. You're a shepherdess. You live literally in the middle of nowhere in Yorkshire. So is it right, your school is an hour away and the hospital is 2 hours away, and you've given birth like on the side of the road before because you've been on the way to the hospital?
I think I've been in hospital. I've actually given birth in hospital, I think maybe 3 times. Once was a cesarean when Raven was completely stuck. That was my first one. No, Reuben I had at home because he came at 30 weeks, so he was too soon. That was very stressful. Violet I had in hospital. So that's 2 No, I think the count is actually 7 either en route. By the time I got to number 8, I gave up. I just had her Clemmy just by the fire there. I didn't even wake up Clive because, best birthing partner, terrier,
Yeah.
definitely. 100%. Yeah. Just kind of rolled over, looked at me with one eye, and I just said, yeah, fine. So yeah, that was probably the best birth experience ever. And I mean, people will call it sort of like free birthing, etc., etc. But for me, it was just like the best option.
Yeah. You're like, I literally live 2 hours from the hospital. Have I got 2 hours? Probably not. This rug is very comfy.
Once I put my hand down and I felt a head come in, I was like, game on.
Yeah. Exactly, and you were a seasoned pro by then anyway. How did you find it when you suddenly sort of shot to fame and were in the public eye? Was that like a massive change for you? Did you expect it? Like, how did your life change?
Well, to be quite honest with you, it kind of really didn't. That's the mad thing. It was all very gentle. My farm diversification was what started it off, and my farm diversification was nothing any more outlandish than, hey, I'll make some cups of tea for the walkers that are coming through the farm. That was it. Make the cups of tea for people coming through on the coast to coast and charge them £1. That was it. How could that ever turn into anything other than that? Well, what actually happened was it was the beginning of a conversation with the people coming through. And one day somebody came through and said they were actually doing research for a television programme called The Dales with Ade Edmondson, and they wanted to follow a few farming families and people who lived in the Dales for this sort of gentle kind of slur television, this series. So I did that. So it wasn't a paid gig or anything like that. I just thought to myself, why not? It might bring more customers for cups of tea. So I did that. Then through that, and a literary agent got in touch and said, we've seen the programme. We wondered whether you'd be interested in writing your story about how you came to be a shepherdess. And honestly, it had never occurred to me. I wasn't some sort of burgeoning writer. I wasn't kind of like shepherd that sort of is leaned on a stick staring with a faraway gaze. I wasn't very Wuthering Heights or anything like that. But I thought to myself, well, as someone who got an E in English at GCSE level, I don't even know if this is feasible or possible. And then I thought, I'll give it a go. Because, I mean, at that point, I would have probably had about 5 children or something. Farming is obviously a very up and down kind of a industry to be in. It's in favor or it's not. It's in turmoil at the moment. So it was a way of, I suppose, again, farm diversification, earning. And I thought, what have I got to lose? So I wrote a book. 80,000 words they wanted, and I gave them 120,000.
Overachiever, I love it.
I know. And I can't remember if it got to number 3 in the bestsellers, but basically, it did all right. And I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it because I would never have ever seen myself as a writer. But you see, by this point, I don't want to say living the dream because that sounds very TikToky, very sort of, but I'd got to a place where I wanted to be. I'd somehow managed to get myself from a very sort of urban upbringing in Huddersfield onto what is billed as one of the highest, remotest hill farms in Yorkshire. And there I was with the kids and Clive and this life going on. And all I did was write about those experiences. So that is where it all began. And of course, Twitter was a thing. And I was also putting pictures up. It was one of those things, when you accidentally sign up for some sort of like account and you give yourself a silly name because you never think you're going to use it. And I called myself Amanda Owen 8, for goodness sake. Of course, I went on to have 9 children. That rather messed that one up. But there obviously must have been another 7 Amanda Owens. And all I was doing was literally just putting up pictures going, here I am running around the sheep. Here I am in the rain. Here I am mucking out some cows. And it just slowly grew into a bit of a following. Then came more books. Then came more television. And that's it, really. And I mean, of course, starting off living here, it definitely felt a lot more isolated. You maybe felt a little bit more of a pioneer. You maybe felt more sort of insular and sort of like you versus the world. But now the world's got a lot smaller. So believe me, if you want to put a picture up of yourself manhandling a sheep, there will be people all over the place, either going, you go for it, girl, use those muscles, use those strength. And there'll be another person going, can't believe you tipped that sheep upside down. Ooh, you shouldn't be doing that. So times have changed. But you know what? Resilience and strength is what I would always talk about, and not particularly in as a sort of feminist kind of a stance. It was just basically that that's what you actually need to be able to survive here. You know, mad. So I've just had to move with the times, much to the children's disappointment, because I keep using their lingo. I keep saying things like aura. But yeah, you have to move with the times. It's exactly what you've done. You know, it's quite a traditional, quite a sort of, you might say, old-fashioned type of a life, maybe an old-fashioned kind of a childhood. But the reality is that it very much isn't. We embrace new and
Yeah.
it's good. Good. It's exciting. Sometimes it's inspiring. Sometimes it's infuriating. Sometimes you feel full of jubilation at what you've achieved, and other times you feel like crying in a corner.
I feel ya. How do the kids feel like growing up on telly?
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. It's a shame they're not here, really, because I always like them to just say for themselves, so that people just talk to them, because they're very independent. So there's never, with the programs that we do, because they're reality, which is almost a dirty word now, because people are like, oh, reality, it isn't reality, you know. We do reality as reality. In other words, they're not acting. If they want to be on the TV, they'll be on it. If they don't, they'll go somewhere else.
Yeah. I love that.
It's always their choice. So at the moment, Nancy's going through a I want to be in front of the camera stage. So she keeps heading off and saying, can I do an interview? Can I do an interview? And she's just going through a stage where she's quite thoughtful and thinking a lot about what's going on the farm and the history of the place and what's going on with the build, etc. And the dynamics are always changing. You know, Violet was very, very quiet and went through a stage where, you know, she was sort of not saying so much, but she's come through that stage now, and now she's sort of coming back out again. But it's their choice. They've got a life to live. Now, it is because we've always done it, and because it's not anything crazy outlandish, it's kind of not, it's not viewed
No.
in a different way. It's like because I mean, believe me, I do ask them, is everything all right at school? Has anyone said anything? Does anyone watch the program? No.
I love that.
No. I said, if you do the questionnaire, like the quiz at the back, and you get any of them wrong, you're definitely being put up for adoption. No, you understand. They don't wander around thinking, gosh, we are so lucky, or oh my goodness, you know, we are this, that, and the other. Nothing has changed. They're still wearing the hand-me-downs. They were still absolutely jubilant when they found one of those, what do they call them? Oodies.
Yeah.
They still were really pleased when they found one of those at the waterfall the other day. They got the eye on it and they were like, someone's left it, someone's forgotten it. No one came back. So, you know what I mean? They're not, you know, they're not wanting to head over to a boutique to be dressed from head to foot in whatever. They're very, very grounded. And you know what? I love that, because they're getting to see another life as well. So it's juxtaposition, because people would always have a problem, because people always do, don't they?
Yeah, always. Yeah, because they say like, oh, you know, your kids are growing up on a farm, like, you know, they need to see real life, but they are seeing it as well. So yeah, like you say, the perfect balance. I love that.
That win. And I think getting to 50, I kind of went, okay, right, now it's choice. Am I going to try and please everybody and fail, or am I just not going to bother and do what I think is right, what's right for me, what's right for the kids, what's right for the farm, and you can like it or lump it.
Yeah. I feel like that's like one big thing that I've learned from being a mum is when my little boy was younger, he was such a hungry baby. So I fed him when he was hungry, and everyone used to say to me, "You're overfeeding him, you're feeding him into a coma, no wonder he sleeps so much, you're going to have an obese child." Anyway, he's now 2 and like skinny. So I'm like, I was right to feed him when he was hungry.
Course you are. And I can tell you that as having 9 children, I began with Raven, and it was, it was like, well, you're a big girl, you can have a big baby. I had a big baby. All the rest of it was completely stuck. It was a home birth that went completely wrong. Everything that I'd ever thought about, it all went the opposite way. And at that point, they were like, well, you can't ever have a home birth again because you're going to have massive babies. Next one was £3, completely fell out. And then I went from having blood clotting things because they thought I was going to bleed to death. And then I went to having blood thinning things because I was definitely going to get a clot. I went from baby sleeping on the back to sleeping on the front. I went to washable fabric nappies to disposable nappies. Fashion.
Yeah, it all comes in and out. Like my husband always says, like, all these people that are experts, they have to have something different to say, otherwise they're not going to get any screen time. So
be brave. And if someone says, what's your parenting tip? My parenting tip is to listen to people's parenting tips and take them with a pinch of salt and do what works for you. Because it's a hard enough job as it is. And invariably, everybody is doing their best in whatever circumstances they find themselves. So it's no good me saying, oh, it's really, my children just run free and go out the door. You should try that. That couldn't have happened in my childhood. And people who are like, oh my God, you need to cut down on the screen time and all the rest of it. If I'd have been a child nowadays, there'd also have been people saying, kids, roaming the streets, you need to get yourself in. Why don't the parents know where you are? So therefore, how would you hold your child safe where you knew where you had them? Have them on a screen. Of course you would.
exactly.
It's just...
I love showing my little boy all the stuff from when I was younger. He's just been at home for 2 weeks with chickenpox. And I loved showing him like all the stuff from like CITV and CBBC from when I was younger. And I loved it.
Just that sort of going back in time. And I feel like I'm really fortunate because I do get the best of both worlds. So once you're out the door here, you're back to basics. There's no signal. You're out in the countryside with the animals, etc. But when you come inside, you've got connection. And people are like, oh, screen. Yeah, screen. And screen is great. Again, it's how you use it. Was there ever a time when the children were going to go out there, find a nest with some eggs in, come in, reach for the Encyclopedia Britannica and look it up? No. But you know what? If you can take a picture of the egg on your phone, come inside, Google it, and it can tell you what the bird is, how long the egg will take to hatch, what the bird's noise is, where it comes from, is it rare? Wonderful.
The best.
Wonderful, wonderful. Online tutoring. That is amazing. That could not happen. That could not happen. I can't stand there and go, kids, get off your screens, get off your phone. We're going to be in a sort of screen-free environment. Oh, and by the way, I just need to get onto my screen to do a Zoom call. I need to send in some edits to a magazine and also check out some footage from a TV programme. Great.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about your new book. I have it here. So this is The Yorkshire Shepherdess, Christmas Tales from the Farm. Now, I'm obsessed with Christmas, so this is right up my street. So this is for sort of like 7+, is that right?
I think I've actually got one. They're all 7+, actually. I think Nancy's 8, I think. She wants to be a ballet dancer and a farmer. I'm like, yeah, cool, you can do that. Yeah, I mean, they were very much an intrinsic part of the whole writing of the book because of course it's about them, it's about the animals, it's about life here, and in a way it's about the imperfect Christmas. I didn't want it to be sort of like the make-believe dream Christmas, the John Lewis advert Christmas. I wanted it to be about our kind of Christmas whereby there's 2 tables, there's not enough forks, someone's sitting on an upturned washing up basket. That's how I wanted it to be, because that is our reality. And for a little while, you try and fit in, you try and make Christmas into the perfect Christmas. But you know what? There is something very liberating and very lovely about actually taking it back to basics. It sounds like you're sort of trying to be almost holier than thou. Oh, Christmas is all about people, friendships. And it absolutely is. Of course it is. And that's why it's pretty much open house. We never know who we're going to have around for Christmas. We always know there's going to be too much turkey, and it's a good way to be. It's a Christmas that is very much focused on life going on as usual, and that sounds like really boring, but
Well, no,
it
I was going to
isn't.
say, animals don't know what the 25th of December means. So, what does Christmas morning look like in your house?
Christmas morning, I'm going to have to say, it looks pretty much the same as any other morning. Presents under the tree, Santa will have been. There'll probably be a little gift on the back of the doors for the children to open, usually something sort of like for the little ones. It could have been a toy animal or something in the stocking. And then basically we all head out and do our work. It was 3:30 when they opened the presents this year, and the sum and
What,
totals
in
all
the afternoon or in the morning? Oh,
uh,
I thought you meant they got up at 3:30 to open their presents and then out on the fields at 4. Okay, 3:30 in the afternoon. Okay, no, I can go with that. I can go with that.
gone to bed actually, because at midnight they have to go out to the stables to see whether the horses are kneeling down. See, one, because they kneel down in reverence because it's a stable, so we always deck the stables out. There's something really nice about being in the stable when it's dark, I mean, whether it's not, it's just a nice feeling. You tend to find that weirdly you gravitate more outside at Christmas than you do inside. And that might be owing to a load of repeats on television, or the fact that nobody can bide themselves because they're always looking out and wondering what they should be doing. But you tend to find that you will bed the animals up just that little bit more, and you will just fill those hay racks a little bit more. And I don't know, there's something that makes you want to be out there more rather than less. I'm sure there'll be lots of people who work over Christmas who have a similar feeling. It's no hardship. It isn't a hardship at all. It's wonderful. So the kids will go outside, see if the horses are kneeling down. One year they were very chuffed because little Joe, the pony that died, was actually kneeling down. They didn't realise it was because he was arthritic. But, I wasn't going to spoil the magic. It's fine. And then in they come, good night's sleep, up they get, and we all head off to do our jobs and our tasks around the farm. This last year as well, Edith actually went to work because she works at a pub. And the pub had opened up its doors on Christmas Day to anybody who didn't have anywhere to go. She said, do you mind? I said, why would I mind? She said, yeah, but I'm not going to be here on Christmas Day. I was like, cool. I said, it's really good. So she went and served on for anybody who didn't have anywhere to go, which I thought was really good. So she landed back a bit later. And then invariably, there's a whole influx of people who either fancy a second Christmas dinner, because we don't have Christmas dinner till probably about 7ish at night, because of course you've got all your bullocking up, all your jobs to do again, all your animals that are inside sorted again. And basically random people, because people get this idea that it's like, oh, can't invade, it's Christmas. Like, it's like sort of like some sort of, it's sacrilege to go to somebody's house at Christmas. I'm like, please come. Please bring somebody else here.
Yeah, bring some new people for me to talk to.
Just bring somebody. I don't care what your problem is, whether you've got issues or whatever. I don't care. I'll hide the drink, whatever. Just come. So yeah,
I love that.
So that's all good. The children open the present this year. It's always the same. I always have a little bit of a, oh my God, are they going to be really disappointed moment? Because I think that's every parent. Because this year I could actually get the presents in one of those bags for life that you get at the supermarket. You know, the one that everyone's got millions of, because I could get everybody's presents in there. Because I'd got them what they wanted throughout the year. They did, there'd been occasions when they'd said, oh, I'd really like a so-and-so. And I got them it. So they wanted coats for the goat. And now there isn't goat coat. They did actually try knitting a goat coat, but it was kind of like more bodycon. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of like, it almost looked kind of like a bit like a body stocking, which I didn't think was a good look on a goat.
No.
Crotchless body stocking on a goat. No thanks. So I got them, they were like waterproof dog coats. So they got those in high vis so they can't get run over. Not that you could run them over, I've tried. You can't. Okay, so they got these coats. They were like, oh, goat coats, this is brilliant. Off they went outside, And then that's the last you see of them, because the goats weren't quite as keen on the goat coach. But eventually, and then the goats come in, and then they're running around the Christmas tree trying to eat the wrapping paper, all the rest of it. And Clive's like, "What are them goats doing in here?" And yeah, just that. Chocolate.
Yeah.
What else I got them? It's usually useful things. Oh yeah, I got a school bag for Violet because she wanted a school bag. But expectations are very low. It's not a sort of mad, crazy consumer Christmas. Because that isn't
I think
what we
that's
do.
the way to go, though. Like, I've had to cap myself with my little boy, because if not, I'd just buy everything. But I think he doesn't need everything because he can't physically play with everything.
I think being able to do that is a really good thing. Again, it's that trying not to look over your shoulder and compare with other people. And naturally, you're always going to think it and do it. Because, I mean, I've done it. Don't really go back after the summer holidays. Because, I know that they'll come back and say, "Oh, my friend's got a lovely suntan because they went to so-and-so and they went to so-and-so." And I'll be like, "Well, we had one trip to Middlesbrough and we went to Primark, and we went camping at the fields at the bottom of the gully on the farm. That was it."
But, I mean, what a great commute home. Uh, I'd prefer that. Like, always getting home from holidays so long.
Exactly. But again, I don't know. That is the one thing that I feel that I'm lucky about. The one thing that I feel that I'm fortunate about is that I don't have to do that comparison. Number one, I don't have to go to the school gates, so I don't have to go trying to look like I'm some sort of yummy mummy. Doesn't matter. I once got asked to do a radio program because there'd been trouble at a school, where some of the parents had been dropping off their children and the parents were still wearing their onesies. And I think the intention was that I was supposed to come on and go, "That's terrible. That is unacceptable. It's shameful." So they didn't expect it when I said, "Well, you know what? They're bringing the kids to school.
Yeah.
Who cares?"
They're on time. They're on time.
Be very judgy, can't we?
Yes,
Yeah?
we can be. But thank you so much for joining me today. So you've got your Christmas Tales from the Farm book is out now. Perfect for Christmas. Especially, I said this when we met Katie Piper as well. Book advent calendars. Love them. This would be so good as well. And it's because it's got so many different stories. You can do like one a night as well. And also you've got your tour Onwards and Upwards as well, going around the UK.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've got all sorts of things going on. I just hope that if anybody takes anything from the books, it's that it inspires them. It's a conversation starter. Colour the pictures in, do the quiz, and just enjoy. And I'm really looking forward to heading out as well, out over the hill, straying off my patch, and going and meeting up with people here, there, and everywhere.
We'll put all the details of Amanda's tour in the show notes, so make sure you check that out. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been amazing chatting to you.
Thank you, Amy. It's been a delight. It's been
Thank you so much. That was another amazing episode of Amy Hart's Mum's Club. I think you can agree Amanda is amazing. So make sure you check out her book, Christmas Tales from the Farm, and also all her other books, her TV shows, and her tour as well. She has so much content for you to look at. Like, I'm a deep diver, and I cannot wait to go and have a deep dive. And I'll be back next week with another fabulous guest. Until then, don't forget to check out our social medias at Amy Hart's Mum's Club on Instagram and TikTok, and I will see you soon. Mwah!